Good afternoon. This is CPS Boxing News and Boxing News Media from New York City, and this is our pleasure today. Present one of the professional boxers. Her name is Alejandra Ayala from the city Tijuana, Baja California, Mexico. She's joining us in this interview. Alejandra, thanks for giving me the opportunity to speak to you. How are you? How are you feeling?
I'm feeling great. I'm feeling better every single day. I'm very thankful to God and to everybody who has been praying for me and who has contacted me directly, telling me to keep on going and that they're very proud of me. Makes me want to keep on going.
I know, and I would say, first thing first, I thank God for seeing you alive, giving me also this opportunity to speak to you, and we're gonna go ahead in a few, just talk about a few things, if, of course, if you allow me. If you don't, it's respectable when you said, no, I don't want to talk about this thing, and that, like I said, that's respectable, but first thing first, when it comes to women's boxing, how you started, becoming a professional boxer? What makes you to become a reason, to turn as a pro and continue, in this movement, women's boxing? How's your story? What's your story?
Well, originally I was a basketball player my entire life. I still played in university basketball. Unfortunately, I had a lot of problems with my knee, and then after that I stopped. But I always wanted to do some kind of sport. So when I was in Mexico, I was actually studying my master's degree, and one of my cousins was in boxing, and I said, hey, do they let girls in? And he said, yeah, come in. No, I absolutely fell in love with it. Boxing is amazing. I don't know if it's just me. Maybe not everybody thinks that way, but I think boxing is 100% all around. It's mentality, it's emotional, it's physical, it's everything. It's beautiful. So I started immediately wanting to box amateur. I only took a year because I thought I was too old. I was 23 years old when I turned professional, and it's been amazing since then. I absolutely love the sport, and nowadays, even though I am not a professional boxer anymore, I'm still constant. I have my gym that I opened up a year ago, and keep moving forward with boxing. And female boxing, when I started, it was difficult. It was difficult because there weren't many fighters, especially in my weight class. And especially here in Mexico, most of the fighters here in Mexico are smaller weights as far as female boxers. That has changed so much in the past 10 years. I'm very happy for it.
It's great to hear your story and much more. To added another thing, inspiring at the same time. You said, it's a passion, it's a love for the sports, but also inspiring. And when I say inspiring, it calls my attention your story, because I know you have a nickname that is the Phoenix Bird, and we have to thank God, because due to a incident that happened in boxing, I mean, it's something that, I have to say this, I'm grateful to see you alive, and I'm grateful that you still here, even though you just mentioned you don't continue, with the sport of boxing. But guess what, you open your gym, you probably, I'm guessing you are the trainer, and of course, passing the knowledge to all this new generation kids, girls and everyone who wants to learn, the sport of boxing. But before all of that, can you tell us a little bit, how were things, for you when, with all due respect to you, you were in coma, and what was the feeling, of, coming back, and of course, those messages that people send you? Can you talk about a little bit of that, please?
Sure. Actually, I don't remember a lot of it. Sometimes they ask me, what was happening. I sent you a message, you didn't reply. I understand. I was in a coma for 2 weeks, and then after that, I wasn't into my phone for maybe 3 months. I was in Europe for 2 months, and then I came back to Mexico. But it was difficult. My coming back was difficult as far as mentality, being able to talk to people, to hear them, to understand them, to read, to be on social media, all of that was difficult for me. But I've done a lot of therapy in all aspect therapies, and I'm very grateful because they're amazing doctors, and I've come a long way. They said I wouldn't be able to talk as I do now for 2 years, and it's been exactly 1 year, and they're amazed. And without doubt, just I had so many people from all over the world messaging me, and now that I am on social media, now that I can talk to them and everything, I feel very grateful, and I feel so much love and so much wanting to move forward, because they are constantly saying that they keep wishing the best for me, that they keep praying for me. So I say to myself, then I have to keep going.
And I'm thankful for these people, thanking all of them in also in your behalf, doctors, therapists, people, and everyone that send you message. I know probably they don't understand sometimes, and there's nothing wrong with it, because the fighter has to take some time for himself or herself, because he has to relieve everything. When I say everything, is in general, mentally, physically, emotional, all these things. And I'm glad to see you, like I said, being over here alive, and of course joining me in this interview. And what an amazing thing, we have to thank God for that. And what can I say, boxing continues, and yourself, because eventually you said it, you open a gym. People, I'm pretty sure people are welcome, to come. Maybe one day, I will make the trip, all the way there, and give you a surprise. Hey, I'm there. But in the meantime, I have to say thank you for allowing me do this interview over the video call. Well, now social media is working, amazing. When you talk
Yeah.
about certain things amazing,
Okay.
let's talk about women's boxing. How do you see now women's boxing growing? Let me just remark, a little bit on women's boxing. I have to congratulate Amanda Serrano, Katie Taylor, these two, great champions, these two great athletes for me, and I respect all of you in general. I feel like they were the ones that opened the big door, making a big impact in Madison Square Garden, and making this fight for all the fight fans give us, a great fight. And now you could see right now everyone turning around and seeing yourself and other, female athletes. What do you think about women's boxing from this era right now?
It's amazing, and I'm very happy for it. And honestly, I feel like, well, I opened the gym exactly last February, so before I went to my last fight, and I left somebody in charge. When I came back, I couldn't do all that. I couldn't be a trainer. It was difficult for me, so I hired a trainer. My husband was also training, because I had certain more elite boxers, and he was very helpful. But honestly, what I come back to do now is I want to keep helping female boxers, because, as I mentioned, I mean, even Jackie Nava, for example, was pioneer in boxing. Back in that day, the first female world champion, WBC, like, just accepting everything, every little thing. She just retired. She went the long way. But even 10 years ago, it was difficult. We didn't get paid enough. We didn't get enough advertisement a lot of times. And every female boxer can be the person she wants to be. She can be, sexy. She can be beautiful. She can be sporty. She can be anything, But a lot of times, because it's mostly television, they kind of want to bombard her or us at the time. You have to do this. You have to do this. And they disqualify the boxing, the sports of it. And now, 10 years later, wonderful things are happening. To start with, there's such a diversity of boxers. Here in Mexico, especially, I'm very happy. As I mentioned before, it was just very small weight classes. And nowadays, I mean, you have lightweights, you have welterweights, you have heavyweights, female boxers that are doing incredible boxing. Now it's not just so much get in the ring and start, doing all of this. Although I respect those women, because trust me, even then it's difficult, going and hitting someone and getting hit. But nowadays, just the knowledge of all of us, the practice of all of us, everything we do is very beautiful, and I love watching boxing, every single weekend, every single time I can see it worldwide. And as far as the two fighters that you told me about, I think they've done an amazing job as far as getting paid, because when I started boxing, honestly, even in the U.S., they didn't pay well. Probably the best ones the best countries that paid when I was fighting was Canada for female boxers. Whether it was Mexico, my first fight I won 1,500 pesos, which at that time was like $200, So, and that's what it was. Then it went up to 4,000 pesos, just a little bit more, and all of that. My last fight, I did win a little bit more. But what I see DAZN, for example, Eddie Hearn, he's doing an amazing job as far as guaranteeing that women get paid what they need to get paid. I think the Irish girl was the first female to ever get paid $1 million. And you think, like, what? I mean, honestly, 10 years ago, when I was looking for fighters, male fights, heavyweight fighters that weren't even world champions were already getting paid $1 million. They were already getting paid $8 million. So I'm very, very happy for this movement, very happy for the people involved in doing good boxing for females and inspiring them, because now in my own gym, I see young women, I see young girls. I see there's actually this little girl, she has to be like 3 years old. She's the sister of a boxer, and she goes in there, and every single day she goes, hi, that's incredible. She's 3 years old, but it makes me happy because her parents are aware of it. She's watching her brother, and no one's intimidating her. So I think it's beautiful.
It is. It's amazing. I mean, all these things that you just mentioned when it comes to women's boxing movement, and of course, to congratulate Eddie Hearn for making this movement, continue going. Now we see Clarissa Shields is going against Hannah Gabriels again, second fight. I mean, that's gonna be incredible and amazing, because now we can see how all of you ladies perform as a main event, and to me it's great to continue watching fights like that, and why not to support this movement when it comes to my behalf, because I love how all of you fight, because eventually there is no round of study that you're gonna see, let me just jump and see how it is. Once the ring belt is action, there's no stop, and it's amazing. And when it comes to one person that you just mentioned, I mean, she's my favorite one, Jackie Nava, and oh my god, it's a great champion. Unfortunately she retired from boxing, but I know I can say this, boxing is still there. Probably she's teaching, she's letting other people pass their knowledge and the torch, because eventually she wants the best for every female athlete, as you just mentioned. I mean, years ago it wasn't the way it is right now. You can tell that women's boxing is moving forward, is getting stronger, is making noise, and I'm glad to see this movement going stronger and for the better, because all of you deserve the next generation, the next female athletes that comes behind yourself. Jackie Nava, another person that comes in my mind, Barbie Juarez, Ana Maria Torres, and so many great athletes in the sport of women's boxing. What can I say? It's amazing, and it's great to hear, of course, your opinion and your comments as well. When it comes to women's, I mean, with the sport of boxing, I know tomorrow is gonna be a day where we're gonna see returning the king of boxing. That's people consider him the best pound for pound, Canelo Alvarez. What do you think about now? He's coming to his hometown. I feel like he has pressure, because coming from a loss that eventually he got by Dimitri Bivol, but right now he has in front of him John Ryder. What do you think about this match that is going to happen tomorrow night?
I think it's great. I think Canelo, I mean, he's either loved or hated, and I think I'm on the side that I maybe not love him, but I realize everything that he's done. And I know this fight for him hasn't been easy to come to him. To He's gotten so high up in this boxing world. He is the best pound for pound. I mean, international fighters want to fight him. They go after him. No, I'm next. No, I'm next. No, I'm next. When have you seen that with a male Mexican boxer? It's barely unknown, no? And now everybody wants to fight him because it's money, because it's, and everything.
So
And
true.
I think he's done a great job. It's difficult. Even though he the last fight he lost, honestly, I mean, he started at like lightweight, and he's gone all the way up. He's done he's fought all the champions of each individual belt. So I mean, I feel like this is a good fight for him. I feel he feels content, happy. It's difficult for that level to come back to his hometown, to be able to fight with his family. A lot of even though he has a lot of support worldwide, it's not the same having your whole family, all your friends from preschool, from high school, from eternal, being able to go and watch you. I'm pretty sure that makes him very happy, and it's well earned. And I think it's going to be a good fight.
It is when it comes to, I know Canelo, it's gonna bring the best of him, because one thing that I can tell, and I'm pretty sure he has pressure, this pressure that he wants his own people believe that he's still a champion. I mean, don't get me wrong, with all due respect to him, he's a champion, but some people criticize him like he has easy fights and things like that, and I don't think he cannot underestimate John Ryder. John Ryder is coming from winning against Danny Jacobs. Danny Jacobs is a durable and tough fighter, so I don't think he has right now an easy fight. But eventually, Canelo has to figure out how to win, because if he wins and come up victorious tomorrow night, we already know that there are two names out there in the sport of boxing that is still waiting. We might gonna see in September the rematch against Dimitri Bol, or either way, someone that's still waiting, that he already won the ticket and he says, I'm standing right in front of the door and I want him as much as people, of course, they want to see this fight. David Benavidez, what do you think about if he comes tomorrow night victorious, Canelo Alvarez, and faces David Benavidez?
I think Benavidez is an easier fight for him than Bivol, because when fighters, and that's really, I feel, why he won against all the European fighters who, in that weight class, even though it's a higher weight class and they're used to big, heavy punches, they don't move a lot. Most of the ones that he won against easily don't move a lot. The one boxer, I forget his name, the one who actually does move a lot, he ended up, I think he went all the rounds, or he won until the very last round. He put his guard down a lot, and Canelo's smart. Canelo has been in this as well, like I think 20 years. He started super young professionally. I think he was 16 years old when he was already professional. So he's gone a long way. He knows what to do. And I honestly, I respect Bivol, but I think it's an easier fight for him. I mean, sorry, Benavidez. I think Benavidez is an easier fight for him.
I mean, when it comes to fights, hopefully that happens. Let's say if tomorrow Canelo wins against John Ryder, and if not, I mean, they've been saying, talks and of course comments where Dimitri Bivol says, now I'm gonna meet you in your weight class, but Canelo says one thing also. He says, I'm coming in your weight class, so we don't know what exactly is gonna come, because let's say if Dimitri Bivol comes down at 168. I mean, people say that probably Dimitri Bivol would win. I don't know if that's gonna be true, because that comes in Canelo's comfort, in Canelo's power. If he goes Canelo again up, and meets Dimitri Bivol in his weight class, the question for me, or the question out there, it's, does Canelo will bring his power against Dimitri Bivol, that is a natural puncher, and his only weight class, and things like that? we don't know exactly, but hopefully that's the interesting part, that we cannot miss, tomorrow night fight, because eventually it's gonna be an amazing fight. And nothing, just continue supporting, boxing in general, boxing in women's boxing as well. And we'll stay tuned, to check everything and see what comes next in the sport of boxing. When it comes to the sport of boxing, anything that you in particular you teach around in your town, like, you going out there, talk to people, talk to the audience. Do you do like kind of conference for students and things like that?
I haven't. I have done in the past. Ever since I came back, honestly, this is one of my first interviews where I'm not given exactly what I'm going to talk about, because I did have difficulty being able to remember names, dates, just simple things like that. So I'm trying you out, see how it works. But yeah, I would love to. I mean, as I mentioned, a lot of times, and a lot of like old school parents don't understand what boxing is. Just like my parents when I started, they didn't like it. They said it's just about punching. It's just about hitting. It's negative. And I'm like, no, it's the opposite. After that, you change. Your mentality changes. And I agree. I like training kids as well, boys and girls, because it gives them confidence. As far as bullying, as far as like in the whole world, there's certain cities where it's not too safe. Just being able to know for yourself, if anything, I can defend myself. I think that's very important, and also let them know that you don't train boxing so you can hit somebody. You don't train boxing so you can hurt somebody. No, it's the opposite. And it's for you to be better in all aspects. And I would love to teach them to let them hear that, so that they understand what boxing really is about.
I'm glad that you already, comment on that, because actually I was going for that type of topic, because I was gonna say, Alejandra, what do you think about, or what are your thoughts in someone that not necessarily wants to go for becoming a boxer, but eventually wants to learn, boxing for self-defense and of course, discipline themselves and things like that, like mentally, physically, everything, because now we can see that so many people are joining boxing because, probably, with all due respect to anyone out there, they want to lose weight, they want to feel great, they want to do certain things in order to have healthy life and things like that. You already took the words of my mind. It's amazing how you spoke about this, and I'm glad to see you and being blessed by you right now having this interview. And of course, it's not gonna be the last interview that I can consider, maybe in the future contact to you again, and if you allow me, if the time is right. But eventually I'm gonna wrap it up, this interview. But before we go on that, it comes in my mind to ask you, who named you the Phoenix? I mean, how does comes out the nickname of yourself?
Well, it started with everything. It started with sports. As I mentioned, first I was in basketball. I got, injured again. Originally, I wanted to go to Europe and play basketball. That was my dream in high school, But
Sure.
after that, it changed, and nonetheless, I found boxing. And then in boxing, my first fight in boxing, I lost amateur. And I came back and I kept winning, winning, winning. I went to my nationals and I got third place for the first time. Everything. And so they just said, it's no matter if you lose, you come back up. No matter if you lose, you come back up. So that's how I became La Phoenix.
Amazing. That's something that I'm pretty sure you're gonna love, the logo of my brand, because
I saw it.
that's what it is. That's what it is. And I have a story about it. It's personal, and sometimes I share it with people that they wanna, hear my story as well, because in a short words, I can tell you, the thing is that it's inside the ring. For me, life represents the ring, and the Phoenix, it represents anybody, because every day there are circumstances that we have to fight, that we have to overcome, that we have to pray to God to give us a strength, peace, and fortress, and all of that to to succeed. Because nothing is easy in this life. But guess what? We have God by our side, and we just gotta believe in Him and continue moving forward by His grace and amazing power. I think everyone can overcome, and you are the example, overcoming and come back from the coma that you just eventually went through. And I'm grateful to see you alive. But what can I say? It's amazing when we talk about boxing and you're related with my logo, and I'm pretty sure it's gonna be an amazing story when you go out there and you share with people, the students, family, friends, in public. And what can I say right now? It's great to hear your story. But before we wrap it up this interview, any message that you would like to send the fight fans, friends, audience, and everybody that supports women's boxing, and of course boxing in general?
Yeah, just keep on focusing on it. Honestly, female boxing, we get paid more when the public wants to see us more. So give us the benefit of the doubt. Don't just take us as a woman or a pretty woman or somebody who doesn't know how to do things. Pay attention, and give everyone that love, so that consistently the female boxing keeps rising. We keep getting paid better, and we keep making public appearances.
It's true. And of course, I pray to God that giving me the opportunity to do another interview with you, and of course everyone out there that allows me to support women's boxing. Because hey, I love to support women's boxing. I have a story too. Why is the reason that I support women's boxing, and not only that, even in the amateurs as well. So, ladies and gentlemen, Alejandra Ayala with us. It's a pleasure, and thank you for this interview, Alejandra.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome. Thank you.